Hey everyone, this is Jared Grant. I'm just gonna make a little video and tell you about this barn door that I made. And I got some help off YouTube and whatever other websites. So I thought maybe this would help tell you some things I learned. Little disclaimer, I'm not a real super handy guy. I mean, I do stuff around the house, but I wouldn't classify myself as a woodworker or anything. So this is a fairly easier than you might think DIY project. So it is pretty big. This is our front room, our living room / dining room area. Front door is right over here. The reason we wanted to do this is to be able to close off this room. We have a Scentsy business. We do have customers come, and all of our stuff is in this room in these built-in cabinets. And so I've got my son right here who's 5 months old. My other son is almost 3. They're a little disruptive, especially the 3-year-old, when mommy's trying to talk to customers. So I'll go in there, we'll shut the door, separate this environment from that environment, and hopefully it'll be a huge success. So I'll show you this, open, close real quick, show you how it's gonna work. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I haven't put a handle on it yet, and there's a couple other things, or at least one other thing I still need to do, and I'll tell you about those. It does have a brake up here. I'll show you a little close-ups there. A brake at each end, so it's not going to go too far. I left I don't know, ½ inch gap or less than a ½ inch gap. But I did have some specific challenges with this particular project. One is this built-in cabinet right here, so I wasn't sure how much clearance I had. I did make it with about 1 inch to spare. So I'll show you. First of all, here's one of my helpers here, Levi. He's pretty good right now. He doesn't mess with things, but he will later. Anyways, so I had this issue of having to clear that built-in cabinet, and I've got about 1 inch between the crown molding, so that's just fine. I'll take it. And the brake I was talking about is, I don't know how well you can see it, but it's right up there. The little bar that holds the roller on there is hitting the brake. And there's another one at the other end. Whoops. So, as you can see, it's right there. And I put it there because, one, we have to have room for this china cabinet that used to be kind of centered right here where the door is, right here. But we put it over there and it's fine. And then two, I still need to put one more thing on. This device right here is, will attach to the wall, and then this roller will hold the door back. And I'm going to try to figure out another thing, because I wouldn't mind having something on the other side to keep it from banging against the wall. Being wood, it's not perfectly straight. I was a little nervous about it, but you can see this end is actually touching the baseboard, while the other end, I think you can see through there, is got a little gap down there. So I'd like a little type of caster or something I can put against the baseboard. Or I'm going to cut a little bit of the baseboard out actually to put this dude on. And if I have to put a little caster or something. They do sell this type of device that has something on both sides. The problem with them is they're about this far out anyways. I didn't see anything that came really close to the wall, so I didn't find any. I got this off Amazon. I got the track from a different vendor on Amazon, this track and roller kit. And I'll just give you some prices. That was about $180, $190, I can't remember exactly, for that 14-foot track with those rollers. Now, I'll talk a little bit about that because you do need to be aware of some warnings. But I'm happy with it. It worked fine. I think it looks fine. But there's something you should be aware of. It's pre-drilled, which is interesting. And it came in 4 pieces. So that track, you can see, it's actually rubber, that oval-shaped plate there. Or no, I can't remember if it's rubber or not. No, it's metal. But that's a seam where 2 pieces are joined together. So the pieces are all, I believe, about 3 feet. Well, no, I guess it'd be 3.5 feet or whatever to equal 14 in length. I think 3.5. But you can see those bolts. Actually, they're screws, but right next to that, they're 10 inches apart. And the other ones are 16 inches apart. Well, they don't tell you that when you order it. I thought they would all be 16 inches apart. But it turns out my studs aren't all 16 inches apart anyway, so it really didn't matter. I actually was fortunate enough to get most of them in studs. I believe 3 of them are not. And they're not right next to each other or anything. This area up here is all in solid wood, so that's nice. But what you could do, and I probably wouldn't have done it on my project because I don't have much clearance because of this crown molding, but you could put like a 1x4 or a 1x6 up on the wall first, you know, stain it the same color as your door, and you know, I don't know, take a router or something and make a nice edge on it. I don't have a router, but you know, you could get one at Harbor Freight pretty cheap for a project like this, one-time kind of thing almost. Anyways, you could bolt that or screw that to the wall, and then when you go to put this up, it'll all have something to bite on. Whereas here it didn't, and they have an interesting thing that I didn't really care for, but this is who it comes from, by the way, CCJH. I got it on Amazon. It's from China, you know, of course. That's why that's actually relatively cheap for these things. And it comes with these dowel pieces, and they want you to drill the hole big enough to put that in the wall. I don't really know why, because if you have a stud, what's the purpose of that? And if you don't have a stud, I tried it, and well, it just goes right through. I've got 3 of them inside my wall because I put it into the drywall and it just goes right through. I actually wrapped some electrical tape around one and kind of made it thin at one end and thicker at the other end, and did wedge it in there, and that, you know, I don't know, I guess it's some kind of anchor. I'm not sure what. And I emailed the company. They don't answer the phone. In fact, you get something that says the voicemail box is not set up. I emailed them about them, and they're like, oh, it helps give it strength. And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't put them in there where I was hitting the studs. And then it has these spacers here, which I think are just fine right there. That you know, spreads out the pressure. I don't think you need to put that little dowel piece in there. Okay, so other than that, I'm pretty happy with that thing, you know, and for the price, I can't complain too much. As you can see, I had to get pretty close to the ceiling, so I didn't have a lot of room above it, and a lot of things on Amazon I could find didn't have all the dimensions, so you can see that one's got, I don't know, 1.5 inches or 2 of clearance, whereas even on this instruction manual, you can see they have some other models that would not necessarily have worked. Well, these, I don't know, they might have, but I didn't know. I just got the one that looked like it stuck down the lowest, and it happened to be the cheapest, so I'm cool with that. Okay, so then I had to order all of these little nuts here, and the bolts, and some washers. And, you know, because all they're selling is the roller kit. They assume you have your door. So I ordered those from Amazon because it's hard to find black. I mean, I know you could paint some, but I just ordered them. And that added up to about $50, you know, those things. I think I got like 50 of them and only ended up using 30, but that's just the way it's cheaper to buy 50. Then, so what I did is, this is called shiplap. If you're not familiar with that, you can see, hopefully, if there's enough light, where these pieces come together. I glued them all, and there's even some spots where I didn't clean up the glue real good, but I'm not going to point them out. If you see them, you can see them. So I glued all those pieces together first, and that was interesting. I would glue them and set some dumbbells on them to hold the glue for overnight or whatever, and it seemed to work. I had enough dumbbells to do it. And then I bought these pieces and glued them. So I've got that running from where the roller attaches on the other side. You can't really see it, but it's that top bolt. And then I just bolted in all the boards all the way down. I did change my mind at one point, so I've got those little things there. I had Home Depot cut all this for me. I don't have a table saw, so I just said, hey, can you cut this for me? So these aren't all perfectly straight. If I close it, you'll see. But you know, it's good enough for me. I'm happy with it. They're not all, I shouldn't say perfectly straight. They're not all the same length, but they're very close. But the guy who cut them didn't get them all the same. But anyways, I had him cut this piece the same width as these, and I was thinking, oh, I'll go across the top, I'll go across the bottom, and then I'll kind of go up and down the sides too. But I decided not to do that, and so I actually just glued that piece together, and I stuck those things on there just for a little extra support. Those are at Home Depot. They're easy to find. And the same thing over here. You can't see it, but I did the same thing over here. Those boards are more expensive. They're about 30 bucks each because they were select boards. I wanted to try to find the straightest ones I could find. And those are 1x6, no, 1x8, I think. And then the shiplap, interestingly enough, I think I got 15 of them, and it worked out, so I didn't have, oh, I did put something across the bottom. I'll show you that real quick. So that's just a 1x4, because the reason I decided to go horizontal, a lot of people make their design vertical. I went horizontal because that's under 8 feet. It's just over 7, or no, just under 7 feet, I think. And you got a lot of choices in wood at 8 feet, but if you go longer than 8 feet, you have very few choices, at least at Home Depot. And if I'd have gone vertical, it's longer than 8 feet. Just a few inches, but in fact, it's 4 inches longer because these boards are 8 foot, but worked out fine because I wanted to put a 1x4 across the bottom anyways. That's bolted in down there, and it's all glued as well. But anyways, I don't know what my point was about that, but it's a 1x4 across the bottom. There's not one across the top, but that board goes all the way to the top. And Levi's getting bored over there. Anyways, that's my barn door. I haven't put a handle on it yet. Because of our situation here with this cabinet over here, I think I might actually stick some type of knob right in the middle here, which, you know, if I can get a large enough knob. I don't want something tiny like a kitchen knob, but a large knob, not, you know, doesn't turn or anything, just a knob that sticks out. That'll be our handle. And I might even put something on the other side. If somebody's in the other room, I could just put a small handle right here on this end. So we'll see. I got to think about that. That's it. Hope that helps you if you're going to make one. I stained it and put polyurethane on it. It's not that tough of a job. I mean, my wife had to help me at a couple points, like with measurements and holding the tape measure. I don't have like a chalk line. I don't even have that. I mean, that's not too expensive. I could have went and bought one, but I just had her hold the tape measure, and I held the tape measure, and I just marked all these spots to get these in. And I kind of eyeballed it. I mean, I measured the same distance from this end as that end, but I also eyeballed it a lot because my floor is not necessarily level. My ceiling's not necessarily level, you know, so you don't want to make sure, you don't want everything to be perfectly level if the room's not. So up here, I didn't use a level at all. I just took measurements wherever I had to drill into the wall, from the floor up, 102.5 inches to be precise. I remember that. And I just drilled all the holes at that distance off the floor. And I actually did I think that end first, and then did both ends, and then I held it up there and made little marks in each hole. And I know that's not exactly the best way that a professional would do it, but it worked for me. And then I measured up from the ground to make sure it was all at the right height. Okay, Levi is getting bored over here, so he's yelling at me. So anyways, that's enough anyways. Hope that helps you. I'm pretty happy with how it came out, so there's my barn door. Okay, enjoy.